June 6, 1944, the largest combined land, sea, and air operation of all time, was launched from bases in southern England to liberate Europe from its Nazi oppressors. It was called D-Day, the day intended to crack the wall of Hitler's fortress Europe. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers from America, England, and Canada massed inside Great Britain, where 16 million tons of supplies had been stockpiled in preparation for this day.
The when and where of arrival is not for publication, but the why is common knowledge. Another great influx of American units for the invasion of Europe. When the balloon goes up, these fully trained men will participate in the greatest military expedition in history.
One of the most important of the American imports was General Dwight Eisenhower, the supreme commander of the invasion force. Eisenhower, or Ike as he liked to be called, had already successfully led the invasions of North Africa and Sicily. Now the Allied forces were counting on him to do it again. At stake this time was the outcome of the entire war.
In effect, the stage is being set for the beginning of the great and crucial test all over the world. I have complete confidence that the soldiers, sailors, and airmen, and all the civil populations of the United Nations will demonstrate once and for all that an aroused democracy is the most formidable fighting machine that can be devised.
Eisenhower and his British field commander, Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery, had their work cut out for them. The Germans, under Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, anticipated the Allied plans to invade the Normandy coast of France. At first, the invasion had to be delayed when the worst channel weather in 25 years made a seaborne invasion too risky. Gambling on a break in the weather, Eisenhower ordered Operation Overlord to begin on June 6, 1944.
The dawn of June the 6th comes up like thunder over the invasion coast, as Allied heavy and medium bombers, following in the wake of Bomber Command, send down their share of the 20,000 tons of bombs dropped in the 24 hours preceding the landings. The softening up of the German defenses along a broad stretch of coast.
156,000 men landed on the Normandy coast during the first 48 hours of the invasion. 6 beachheads were established despite the punishing fire from Rommel's Atlantic Wall defense.
On the beach, plunging waist deep into the sea and threading their way among the steel asparagus tops which project out of the water, the anti-invasion barriers with mines on their tips, one of the devices which was studied long before invasion began. This was going on while Britain breakfasted to the first news of the Allied landings. These pictures take you right in among the men who are putting Dunkirk into reverse, planting themselves on the first bit of French soil to be won back after 4 years.
Part of the invasion's success lay in the German reaction. Hitler believed the attack was a feint and thought the real invasion would be east of Normandy. Accordingly, he kept his reserves out of the battle, including his formidable Panzer tank divisions. With Allied air power controlling the skies, the Allies firmly established their beachheads and went on the offensive by June 8th.
Tanks begin to rumble ashore as our bridgeheads are extended. Armor for the assault and capture of Bayeux and the heavy fighting around Caen. Stiffening of resistance was to be expected. A Boche with his face bashed about a bit joins the gang of his fellow countrymen taken prisoner. Just a few chipped off Hitler's army of occupation, for whom the invasion bell tolls.
With the unqualified success of D-Day, the Allied forces began their push toward Paris. The heroic efforts of the Allied troops on June 6, 1944 would prove to be the beginning of the end for Hitler and Nazi Germany.